Hello and welcome to another Starmen Just Watched. I am Devin as usual, and Billy's with me again as always.
Woo! Alright, come on, Devin, do this. Just watch somewhere else.
I'm gonna strike. So yeah, we watched Harlan County War.
Yeah, Harlan County.
Harlan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, not Harlem. Harlan.
Yeah.
And this is a very much you movie.
Yeah, this is one that's it's actually inspired by like a real life strike.
Yeah.
Because it's actually there was a documentary that came out in the 70s.
Right.
That this is actually based around.
I can see that.
Yeah.
This feels very historically remade.
Yeah, like those names changed.
Obviously, but the overall premise and plot is very much this has happened in our history.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to address it in this movie.
Yeah.
So, simple plot of the movie, Billy?
And miners at Brookside Mine decided to join the UMWA and strike.
Yep. And the whole movie is just about the hardships of going on strike at that time.
Yeah. And like miners like down there, oh, they had it the worst.
Yeah. Like barely livable housing.
Yeah.
No indoor plumbing. No nothing.
No, because you can see they always have to go down to the pump.
Yep. They had to pump their own water, outhouses, and just terrible living conditions, first of all.
Yeah.
Next is the working conditions were appalling.
Yeah, because like, it starts off with the mine explosion and collapse.
Yep.
Kills 2 miners.
Yep. And you're just expected to go back to work the next day after the mine nearly collapsed on you.
Yeah. And then, like, that's when the main guy, Silas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little
Yeah, I'm a little shook up. Oh, don't worry, we'll just give you an outdoor job for tomorrow.
Yeah, to show, like, hey, you...
Just because we think you're valuable more than the other guys.
Yeah.
If it was anyone else, we wouldn't do this for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Then, no medical or pension benefits.
Yeah. No, because, like I said, brief history on, like, the UMWA union.
Yeah.
When one of the presidents took it over in the 60s, Tony Boyle, he was a crooked son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because I know for one fact, because my grandfather was part of the UMWA and he hated the guy.
Yeah.
Because there's that scene when the grandfather was talking to the daughter.
Yeah.
And saying, like, oh, the Boyle was a dictator.
Yep.
That's... As soon as I heard that name, I'm like, yep, this is...
This is accurate.
Yep.
No, so I don't have a lot to say about this movie, unfortunately. This is definitely not a movie I would really watch on my own.
Yeah, no, like...
And it's unfortunate that I say that, because this is very much a history movie. This should be addressed.
Yeah.
Like, this was how they lived back then. This is a glimpse into that.
Yeah, and this was
life.
and this was 1973.
Yeah.
So, historically, not that long ago.
No, not really when you think about the concept.
Yeah.
That's almost like 50 years ago.
Yeah. And because, like I said, there's a scene when the main character there, Ruby, when they go to, I think it's New York, to protest the power company.
Yep.
And when she goes into the bathroom,
yeah,
and who reacts to running water.
Yeah, it's like she stepped into the future. And that's like a scary thought in my mind, is that that's how far behind they are in their little village. It's a mining town, I assume. Yeah. So that's scary. To live, like, you have to live like that, and then you find out that you could be living so much better.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, it's like the way they had lived then, like, right? Like,
yeah.
Because that's what I always hear, like, the stories of, like, the people hating the company and all that.
Yeah. See, that was my favorite part of the whole movie, was the scene where they're doing the talk with the stock owners.
Yeah.
And Ruby speaks up on behalf of everyone who lives there.
Yeah.
And she doesn't demand anything great. she's just like, I would hope that you guys would just give us a decent living.
Yeah, like,
we're the ones who, like, you know, die for your company so you can pump out coal. And all we want is just to have a decent place to live in safe working conditions. I don't think that's too much to ask, really.
And like I said, one line's like, yeah, they don't care about it as long as the coal's coming out of that mountain.
Yep. As fast and as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
Which, I applaud at that speech. That's one of the better speeches I've seen in these types of movies.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, because then you deal with the black lung thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's addressed to, which I like.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand what the black lung is.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's not a nice way to go.
No. And you come back as the one who dies of it, you kind of like the character.
Yeah, I was getting attached to the grandfather.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he goes for a walk in the woods and dies.
Yeah, like...
Because the black lung takes him. And, yeah, later on they finally get gas masks and ways to prevent the black lung.
It was like lawn dusting, I think is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. There are ways to slow it down, at least.
Yeah.
Like, back then there was nothing, so you were just exposed to it.
Yeah.
And again, a terrible way to go. And the other thing I want to talk about was the different ways they kept picketing. Because this is like the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
So before, it's the men of the mine go on strike,
Yeah.
and they picket. Eventually, law enforcement gets called.
Yeah, they have
A
an
judge.
injunction.
Yeah.
Allowing 3 men on the picket line.
Only allowed 3 men on a picket line, meaning not much to really stop people from going back to work.
No. Scabs.
The scabs is what they're called. So Ruby gets the great idea of what if the women picket, because it's not men on the picket line.
Yeah.
And it's never been done before, so
No.
what the hell would they do? So they get the idea. They have a peaceful protest too. They just lay down in the way. It's like, you want to go to work, yeah, run us over.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, never mind, let's go.
Yeah.
They leave.
They leave. That works for a while.
Yeah.
And then law enforcement gets called again and arrests the women.
Yeah.
And children.
Yeah, they're all in jail.
They're all in jail. That's heartbreaking right there.
Yeah.
And then they get the pensioners next is the last one?
Yeah, well, they get the old timers and the pensioners.
Yeah. So my joke of the movie was, it's like, we keep arresting these people, but more show up. You can't arrest the old people and turn the place into a senior home.
Oh, it's like one of the scenes I love is when she gets cut off at the store.
Yeah.
And she's like, fine, and she dumps the stuff on the counter. She's like, wow, $3.75 for Aunt Jemima. She ain't gonna miss me the burgers in here.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching a couple of years ago, I'm like, that's how much I actually paid for Aunt Jemima just recently.
Yeah.
So let that sink in.
Yeah, so Aunt Jemima ain't cheap, apparently.
No, like, it was like what those company stores would gouge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they would. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, like get the workers to buy at the company store and...
Because they can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So we can charge them whatever the hell we want for this. We can make a profit off that.
Yeah.
Like...
Because like I said, this screen when he just goes to get the pay and she has her notes and comparing it to what the guy who runs the store.
Yeah.
And claims that he got 6 hours overtime but wasn't on his pay.
Yeah.
And she was trying to fight it.
Yeah, you really can't.
No.
They control the timestamps, and they're like, yeah, no, what our legalese says it's not there. But he did work it. Well, that's your say against mine. No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I won't say this movie doesn't show how terrible
No.
the miners were treated back then.
Oh yeah. so the gun thugs doing the strike.
Yeah, so this is where we get to the violent part of the strike.
Yeah.
Where they'll come to your house at night, just shoot at you.
Yeah. And then after that, all the girls show up with the guns.
Yep. Yeah, so another good scene was the picket line where they all had to bring guns.
Yeah.
And the scabs brought a bunch of their guns, and the leader of the mines, I'll say, comes out, stands in front of them, and then puts his gun away and says, "We're not having this. This is going to be bloodshed for everywhere."
Then you get the dynamite.
Then we get dynamite. Like, we get Union Strike Busters is what they're called, right?
Yeah. Strike busters and gun thugs. That's what they...
But basically just people who are there to do a lot of damage to Union strikers.
Yeah.
To scare them out of striking. And it goes too far, as those tend to do.
Yeah, where I think it was the foreman Gilly, I believe his name.
Yeah.
Was one of the other miners, those antagonizing him by throwing coffee at him.
Yeah.
Stops, backs the truck up.
Takes out his gun and shoots him right in the head.
Yeah.
And that's enough to convince the union and the company to negotiate a contract.
Yeah.
Only takes one guy's dead corpse and a year of back and forth brutality before we finally come to a conclusion.
Yeah, no, so like the WA, like, so that union there, like I said earlier, like with the former president, a little side note on the former president, he had his opponent in an election murdered.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, like, it was violent.
Yeah, because I also have the original documentary.
Yeah.
And I remember showing this documentary to my mom, and when they got to that point where they're talking about that election, my mom recognized the names right away.
Wow.
she's like, well, those, like, I remember Boyle, like, she just remembers my grandfather cursing him.
Yep. So we went over pretty much the plot of the movie and story beats. Things you don't like about the movie.
Hey, this one's hard for me just because, like, it's...
This is always a hard subject for you for every Just Watch.
Yeah.
You love movies too much.
Yeah.
So I did want to put you on the spot on this one because there's got to be something here that, like, maybe they didn't cover this part of it enough, or...
No, I mean, it's... Like, because after I saw... I think I watched this first, then I found the documentary.
Yeah. And
it's actually very close to accurate.
Okay. So no critiques from your end?
No, like, because like I said, because they get the women involved and all that, so...
Yeah. My only critique is it is dry. It starts off very dry, but as a history movie, because I'm classifying this as a history movie.
This is like a...
That's what you're kind of expecting.
Yeah, like, you're not looking, like...
There's not going to be action, there's not going to be as much drama as you think there is.
No.
And it is just basically to look at our past and hopefully to learn not to repeat it.
Yeah, because I know there's still some miners that aren't so unionized, so...
Yeah. Which is still crazy to think about that's still happening today.
Yeah, like I remember reading somewhere that there's still a few mines that aren't with the union. I'm like...
Yeah. Because, as the idiot I am, I thought mining was done.
No.
Like, I thought we stopped, like, using miners and we had machines now to do it.
Yeah, no, like, just... There's still some special, they still do underground mining.
Yeah. See, that surprises me that mining is still a job.
Yeah.
It hasn't been outsourced. So, as the average man, like, watching this and then finding out that, hey, this is still happening today.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Yeah, right? Like...
I was like, I thought we'd be way past this by now. This is 50 years later.
It's like they're still going on the ground. Okay.
Yeah. Like, do they get hazmat suits or anything? It's like, no. Hard hat and gloves. A mask. Depending on what they're mining. But no, that's crazy. Like, my good point about this is a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I am happy that I did watch this movie.
Oh.
Because I'm the type of person I hate when the workers are not treated as good as the owners.
Yeah.
That never sits well with me.
No, and as I said, the UMWA, there has been like major strikes in the history, so.
Yeah.
And because they mentioned how in the 30s there, that it was known as Bloody Harlan.
Yeah. So you can imagine what kind of state it was in then.
Because I think they mentioned in the movie too, they had the National Guard.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's never a good thing.
No, not when the National Guard gets involved. You're not in a good situation.
No.
Alright then, final thoughts before we wrap up.
I don't know, when like I said, I saw this movie before I saw the documentary, because like I said, it's just piqued my interest because of family history, right?
Yeah. You have a family history of miners, so makes sense that you'd want to see this.
Yeah.
I don't have a family history of miners, so obviously not something that crossed my radar.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, I kind of wish I did see it sooner.
Yeah. I just think down the line, if you want to do it, I'll be. I got ordered a movie based on that election murder.
Oh wow. We might have to do that at some point.
Yeah. Hey, guess what it's going to be on? VHS.
Oh wow. There's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
How many of our viewers know what a VHS is?
Say what?
That was mythical technology back then. You might as well put a stone inside of rock. Alright, but with that though, we'll call the episode here, so thank you all very much for listening in.
Damn it, you scabs son of a bitch!
I am not. I would definitely not be on the scam side in this one.
Yeah, no.
Fight for your rights, everyone. That's all I can say. Have a good one.